everyone. Welcome to the Cynthia Linox Show. I am your host, Cynthia Linox. I trust that you are having a fantastic day. My day started out a little rocky. I had to really coach myself. I got up this morning and I was a little unmotivated and not encouraged a whole lot, not at all. And that's because a few days ago, I discovered this rash on my back, and it was itching quite a bit. I ignored it just because I thought, it's just something minor that would go away. Well, it didn't go away. The next day, my husband put a little bit of. I mentioned it to my husband the next day because I hadn't said anything. So the following day, I mentioned it to my husband, and he put some cortisone on it, and it relieved it quite a bit. Um, and got a good night's sleep. The following day, I got up and it was like really itching. It was itching. It was stinging. It's just an unusual type of rash. I don't remember having that kind of rash ever. So I got online and I start looking up stuff and based on the symptoms that I have and so forth. And as I was looking up stuff, I see this commercial on TV talking about some kind of medication for shingles. And I'm like, dang, shingles, so that's because of the itchiness and so forth. I went and I looked into that to see if the symptoms of shingles was anything close to what I was feeling. Fortunately, it wasn't. I didn't have a fever, no headache, no boils, no blisters, none of that. So I ruled that out. But then it was so irritating that I knew that I needed to seek medical help. So I called my doctor's office, and I see my doctor twice a year, and with that comes like an appointment like 3 months in advance. So I called him and I said, I need to see the doctor, blah, blah, and she said, well, she has no opening. She's really busy. She doesn't have any opening until, and then she mentioned the date. I said, I said, so what are my options? Does that mean I need to go to the ER? If it's something, she said, depending on what it is. I said, well, it's a rash. It would be a quick visit, so and so. So Mary, the medical receptionist, scheduled me for an appointment today to see the doctor today. And I said, okay, fine, because, So I got off the phone with Mary and I thought, you know what? That's not what I want. That is not what I need to see the doctor today, not tomorrow, but today. So I called back. I said to my husband, she scheduled me for, she scheduled me to see the doctor tomorrow, but that's not what I want. So I called back and I got Raquel. I said, Raquel, I am in such discomfort and I need to see the doctor. And I am really hoping I can see her today. So she just, put me on. Well, she didn't. She says, hang on a second. She didn't put me on hold, and she just started working her magic. And she says, well, if you can come in at 1:20 today, which was yesterday, she can see you then. So I was able to see the doctor yesterday for this. And of course, I was so read up on different possibilities of what things could be. And so that I like to know different things so that, is it viral? Is it a bacteria? Is it a fungus? Is it, germs, whatever. I like to read up on stuff so that when I go, I can have an intelligible conversation with the doctor. So I went, we had a great conversation. She gave me some treatment. I started yesterday. But this morning when I got up, I was feeling some kind of way that I could not even identify. Because, I talk a lot on my show about being positive and optimistic. That's being positive and optimistic. That's my default attribute. Those attributes is what I default to. Yet it doesn't negate that myself and people that think like I do, have situations where, you have to encourage yourself, where you have to put it to work, where you have to make sure, I'm just turning this a little bit, where you have to make sure that that you are, I'm looking at my computer here. Bear with me just a second. Yeah, where you have to make sure that you keep yourself encouraged and motivated. It's up to you. And it's really interesting because it's easy to default or to fall back on the worst, when you're thinking all these things and whatever. And you have to really get a hold of yourself and make that shift. You have to pivot, tell yourself that no, you are fine, you're well, your body is healing. So I had to pivot. I had to change my frame, change my way of thinking to remind myself that your body is healing. And that's why, because I've been drinking cucumber water, and cucumber have some great properties. It's antioxidant, and it detoxifies, and it just does a whole lot of good things to your body. So I had to pivot my way of, from thinking the worst possibilities to to tell myself, your body is healing itself, and it's detoxifying, and it's really getting rid of all the toxins. The cells are regenerating, they're rejuvenating, the bad cells are getting flushed out of my body, and it's showing up this way in the form of a rash, because I could not. And even the doctor asked me, well, were you outside, and were you bitten by a mosquito and whatever? But it's interesting because it's like right here in the a little further down on the right side. And I could not, I didn't do anything different. I didn't go hiking. I didn't even go like walking or running. I did not go outside in the last, past few days. I haven't been out. So I could not identify anything. So I had to tell myself, to convince myself, not even convince, I just had to really speak to my body, because your mind is your thoughts, your mind is the neurotransmitter to your body. It tells it how to feel, what to know, what to believe, what to know, how to react. It tells it out how to perform. So I had to go through this whole mental thing this morning to convince myself, to tell myself. And so my husband, I went and I laid down for a little while, for a minute, and my husband came in and he said, checking on me and to see how I'm doing. And I said, he asked if I'm going to do the show today. And I said, I'm not sure. I don't think so, but maybe. So anyway, I thought, I stayed there for another minute, just meditating and thinking, and just really almost like switching software in my mind, and just really putting one that is more powerful than the other and brings back better memories and of health and well-being and wholeness and all of that. So I thought, let me get up and take a shower, and I did. I got up, I took a shower, and I just really had to make a decision. It was that, I want to say it was that simple. It was that's what I had to do. I simply had to make a decision. I'm going to feel great today. The rest of the day, I'm going to feel good. I'm going to be fine. And as a result, the itching has diminished quite a bit. Of course, I'm taking some kind of a treatment that the doctor, advised, which is helping. And but it's still, it's still itching, and I wish I could scratch. Of course, you can't scratch because you don't want to breed any kind of infection. So that was the start of my day. And I just got to thinking, what people do so many, I could have taken myself there. I had reasons. I was feeling so bad that I could have taken myself to an area of discouragement, no motivation, just, not feeling well today. Let's just, not do anything. But I just didn't like the way that felt. And I made a decision. So if I were to ask you what it is that you do when you have these situations that come up. And when it comes to my health, I am very, I'm very focused when it comes to that. So I thought that I may just rest, because that's another thing. Just rest, because the body heals when it's rested, when it's in a resting state. So I was trying to tell myself that if I stayed home today and just rested, don't do anything, don't, my husband is gone to the office, just rest and do nothing. And of course, I'm drinking a lot of fluid. I'm just drinking lots of fluid. So, but I really wanted to tell myself that. And the more I thought of it, the more I almost convinced myself, you need to rest. You don't need to do anything. But then again, I didn't like the way it felt. So I thought, let me get up, shower, and I laid down for another minute. Then when my husband left, I just thought, let me just, throw on the top and come here and be with you. But, being positive and optimistic really does not negate that we have situations, opportunities for negativity. Not at all. It happens to all of us. And it's what we do and how we do and the decisions we make on a daily basis with situations that come up. Number one, when I had this, and still just feels a little itch there. When this started, I had so many options. And I thought, well, the most logical option after my husband put the cortisone, I could have him continue putting the cortisone, but I know my body. So I thought, yeah, that may be a temporary fix. I need to get to the bottom of this and try to find out what caused it and all of that. And not to just mask it, but for it to heal. So the most logical thing for me to do at that time, or yesterday, was to uh, go to the doctor. Go to the doctor to get some medical help. And I am feeling a lot better today. But and the more I think of it is, so that was number one. I had to make that decision to go to the doctor. But then today, I had to tell myself, I had to really determine in my mind that I was going to get up, because it felt so sweet. It felt so wonderful just laying in bed under the sheets and covers and just laying there. That would have been so easy to do, but then I make a decision. And that is what we have to make every day. I One person mentioned something about she said, yes, but it's not easy. Oh no, she said, easier said than done. This is someone that's going through deconstruction and religious deconstruction, and really wanting to live a life free of the burden of religious doctrine and so forth, and societal construct, and just to live a life free to just be who she wants to be and to live out the rest of her life, the way she wants to. And I think I said something about, you need to make a decision. You simply need to make a decision. But and that would apply to you as well. Whatever it is that you're going through, in most cases, all it needs is a decision. But then now I realize that it takes courage. You have to encourage. You have to be encouraged in an atmosphere of courage with people of that will empower you, give you courage. Because there was a time, and I have grown in that area. There was a time that I used to think, well, you don't need empowerment. Nobody needs to empower you. But I digress. I take that back. And when I say that, I don't say that a particular person, but words that you hear, people you see, what people say. Sometimes you see someone perhaps that's in a more advanced state of their authenticity, and they're so bold and so courageous, and they don't really give a damn what anyone thinks or say about them. They just come out so in such an eccentric, unique way that you say, wow. And I feel encouraged by that. I feel encouraged, empowered, encouraged by that. But, empowerment really, even though you can feel empowered from someone else, but it comes from the more you know yourself, and the more you start feeling comfortable with yourself, the more empowered you feel, the more empowered you become to be even more authentic. I have a long way to go. As I said to you, earlier, that this journey of self-discovery is not something with an expiration date. It doesn't just ends. It doesn't just stops. No, you continue to grow, and I see it in myself. I i allow myself um the freedom to learn, the freedom to keep an open mind, the freedom to expand my horizon and to learn from people that I don't even agree with. But, you know, in all that I get, understanding is important to me. Understanding allows me to foster great relationships because I understand how that person thinks, how they believe, and I've come to a place where I allow uh, respect in all of my relationships, even though we may not agree on certain things. But it's in most cases, all it requires from you is a decision. Just think of it. You have no idea what's ahead of you. I have an image. I visualize what I want my life to be. We have made plans. We have made many plans. And in all cases, I should say, those plans have come to pass. They have become a reality in our lives. But if you continue to just uh, straddle the fence, just wishy washy, you will get nowhere. And time is ticking. It's the only commodity that you cannot redeem. Once the time is gone, it is gone. Once the time is gone, it is gone. And then this person said, well, I want to, I really want to love again, and I want to get married, and I want to, do fun stuff. I want to travel. I want to do this. This person has all these ideals in their mind, but they're doing nothing about it. You have got to be radical about your life, my friend. You've got to be radical about your life. You have got to make decisions for you. And it's hard for some people to talk about the self and to really focus on oneself, and to know that knowledge of yourself is the beginning of wisdom. When you get to know yourself and take responsibility for yourself, and self-care, and love yourself, and pamper yourself, and respect yourself, and set boundaries, and make choices, the people that you want to spend your time with. That's another thing also. Some of the people that you hang around may not be the people that need to be in your life. You may need to love them from afar. Why? Because they are not helping you in where you want to go. And us women today, we are doing different things. We are being entrepreneurs, starting business, we are traveling, we are meeting people, enjoying friendships, social situations, we are going out and dining, and we are just this really is your best season. especially when you become consciously aware of who you are and what you want to do. We're changing careers, choosing to do the things that we want to do, the things that make us happy. We are paying attention to things like that. We are paying attention to things like that. Absolutely. We are paying attention to things like that, to the self. Whatever we need to do to make ourselves happy. You that have been watching my show for a while know that my whole philosophy about the purpose of life is pleasure. The purpose of life is pleasure. And everything that I do, I want pleasure out of it. You can, other people may be called to different functions, but for me, the purpose of life is pleasure. It's that simple. And if you don't enjoy your life now, you never will. Because once you're gone, you're gone. If you don't enjoy your life now, because this is what you have, it is your life to enjoy now. It is your time to favor yourself and whatever it is that makes you happy. As long as it makes you happy, I mean, genuinely happy, not make believe. And because, we find that, when I talk to some people, they claim that they're happy, but then their happiness is contingent upon the kids calling them, the grandkids calling them, texting, and if they don't get that, and then I said, well, do you take initiative? Well, they think I'm the grandparent or whatever, and they're supposed to take, so all these ideas. No, you need to go after what you want. If you want to maintain communication with your grandkids, then you do so. And if you see that it's not, if reciprocity is important to you, and if you see that they are not returning your calls or really have any interest in staying in touch, then it comes a point where you allow them to just grow up and be themselves, and they'll come around. But in the meantime, they're on a different schedule than you are. And you don't hold it against them. They're, teenagers, or they're young adults raising a family, trying to get the. So every person has their own priority. But to be happy with yourself and to know that you're really happy with yourself is to be able to sit with yourself and be happy right there. To sit with yourself, to meditate, have a glass of wine, enjoy music, watch a few binge watch movies, whatever it is. Go out, take yourself to a fine dining restaurant, or to a movie. Being able to be with your alone self and enjoy it. Enjoy every minute of it. You see, that's how you know, number one, that you know yourself and you can be happy with who you are. Your happiness is not contingent upon somebody calling you or texting you or getting in touch with you. It's not contingent upon that. You allow, because see, when you allow yourself to be happy, then you allow other people to be happy as well, doing whatever they want to do. Because I wouldn't want anyone to feel forced to get in touch with me, to call, to text, or write, whatever. I don't want anyone. I want you to feel, to regard me with the same respect, to celebrate the moment that you're with me, to regard me with the same interest, with the same joy that I have when I give you a call. It's like when I call somebody, when you pick up the phone and call someone, it's because you really want to talk to them. It's because you want to spend some time on the phone with them. It says a lot. So appreciate those time and not put pressure on people. Well, you're supposed to call me every week. No, it doesn't work that way. But once you get to know yourself and once you get to love yourself to a place where you enjoy and you treasure every moment that you may have alone. You treasure those moments. And then you plan to do things. You plan to travel, you plan to go hiking, you plan to go for a walk, you plan to go to the gym, you plan to go just about um, any place. Do the things that you want to do, the things that make you happy. It all boils down to a decision. And you've got to make a decision now. As you're going through your journey is a series, is a different steps of decision making opportunities. Every season, every step in your journey requires decision. You have to make a decision. You have to figure things out. You have to decide upon things. And when you say it's easier said than done, you're not, if you have to decide upon something, it all depends on what the situation is. Some situations, like for me, I know in my situation with this rash, I had to make a decision right now, right then, yesterday. I was like, no, I am not going to go through another night with this thing feeling so awful. And then it's interesting because when I decided, I remember she scheduled me for today. From yesterday was today. And when I hung up, I decided in my mind, it's interesting how that happens. I did not even, it wasn't even like I sent out vibes or energy or spoken. No, I just in my mind decided, no, I need to see her today, which was, of course, yesterday. I made that decision in my mind. I said, no, 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 no. I have an appointment for today, and it would have been at 1 o'clock. I wouldn't have been able to do the show because my show is at 2 p.m. And if I have a 1 o'clock appointment, I'm not going to dash out the doctor's office and come in and do the show. So I called back. And from that person yesterday that took care of me, that scheduled me, and I called back, and in my mind, I had already decided, no, I've got to see her today. So I called back and she said, can you come in? If you can come in at 1:20, we can see. I'm like, yes, I'll be there. It was like 15 minutes away. And but in my mind, it was a decision without even thinking. I decided, no, and I didn't want to go to the ER. You don't go to the ER for well, I guess you could go to an urgent care. That's not what I wanted to do. I needed to see my doctor. It just works better for me. There's a little more, there's a sense of comfort because she knows me, and I see her twice a year, and I generally don't, have to call to do any of this. But when I do, I want to make sure that she's available to see me. So, but it happened after, in my mind, I was like, they don't have an option. They've got to see me. And when I called back, I got the appointment. So with you, whatever it is that you're vacillating, you're hesitating, excuse me, you're procrastinating on, you're not really allowing yourself to move forward and to do what you need to do. That you're still hanging on. A lot of people, you hang on to the old. Why? Because it is a place of comfort. It is comforting to hang on to the old and stay in that place of non-growth, no growth. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. That doesn't foster growth. Doesn't foster growth. And the whole thing is to live your life now. To live your life now, to enjoy your life, to do the things that you want to do. Otherwise, my friend, the clock is ticking. It's ticking. It is ticking away. So there's a sense of urgency to do what you need to do for yourself. And you can do it now, regardless of your situation. You are able to at least start thinking things through, visualizing whatever it is that you desire. And that's how it starts. You make a decision, because once you make a decision, the whole universe opens up to you and delivers for you or to you. It's all about you. And I know people, well, I talk a lot about the self, and it makes people uncomfortable. Why? Because it can come across as selfish, like, oh yeah, selfish or egotistical, narcissistic. I don't care about any of that. All I know is that you need to pay attention to yourself. You need to pay attention to yourself. I pay attention to myself so that we can come into that place of authenticity where we can just be and live in the freedom that we all deserve, that we're all entitled to. Not just deserve, you're entitled to. So when people say they have come to love themselves and accept themselves, that's I don't use that word accept myself, because it's like, as opposed to what? Not accept myself. I don't have to accept myself. I'm entitled to be who I am. So I don't have to accept me. I don't have to accept myself. I'm entitled to be who I am. And it doesn't matter, regardless of what, you know, the popular opinion is. And the same with you. You are entitled to be who you are. Whoever you have discovered that you are, when you go back to that place of uncorrupt lifestyle, uncorrupt person, that childlike place. Once you go back and you discover that innocent person that was not tainted with the conditioning of doctrine or social structure or tradition and all that. Once you go back to that place and you discover that innocence and that pureness and that, fun, loving, joyous type personality, no cares at all, then once you start loving that person and just being who that person is, then you'll see totally different behavior you will take on. A totally different behavior. It's not difficult. It may be challenging because it's like taking you out of your comfort zone and putting you into a place that's unfamiliar. But then again, that becomes your space. That becomes your space. That place becomes your space. You can't deny it. You don't want to deny it. You need to honor that space of the totality of you, the fullness of who you are, physically, emotionally, mentally. Some people say spiritually. That's fine. If you are a spiritual person, then physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, if that's your makeup. And then you start growing a new person in those categories. Physically, you start taking care of yourself, whatever it is, however it is that you want to be, however it is that you want to present yourself, however it is that you visualize yourself being, treating yourself with with compassion, with kindness, with respect, giving yourself permission to be bold, audacious, vivacious, whatever it is, discovering more things about yourself, speaking up, setting boundaries, allowing people in, allowing people out, creating a circle for yourself, and don't hesitate. What I have learned is that when I make a decision, as far as, let's say, the circle that I want to create for myself, what I have learned is that once I make that decision, um, you kind of know the people that don't belong in your circle. And in most cases, you don't have to say anything, because just time will just leave them out. They would just leave. You would just, you may still remain as a connection, but if that person doesn't, they may have a whole different viewpoint. There's people that I know that are dormant. They're doing nothing. They're just looking at everybody else's life, and have all these opinion and philosophizing about life, and all this kind of stuff, and just philosophizing about life but not living. That's not the kind of person that I want to be around, because there's no life, there's no activity, there's no action. They're not serious. They're idealizing what life can be, and that's okay for them. I may not be the person that you need in your life, because I may be going 100 miles an hour, and you're just not about, you just may want to chill, and that's okay as well. So it's not a bad thing when I say create a circle. It's not a bad thing. It's not it's just you that would you know get rid of the people that don't that are not the influence that you desire. You may be stepping away from other people's life, which is okay. It's not a matter of feeling angry or hard feelings or leaving. No, no, no. It's just you just depart and go your way, and I go my way, and it's fine. Doesn't mean you're vexed or you're mad or angry at each other. No, you can once in a while stay in touch, but it's not a circle that's tight. Your circle that's tight needs to be people that are whatever it is that you are seeking. For me, it's highly motivated. It's achieving and in life, and enjoying life, and really just grabbing life by the horn, and just really living a good life unapologetically. And not everyone is suited for that. People think that if you live and have a good time and enjoy your life, that you are not thinking about about people in this place or people in that place, or the less fortunate people. And look, let me tell you, you don't have to share everything that you do. And if you're a person that gives like to charity, or you have your own way of reaching out to people, then it doesn't matter what other people think that you're doing. If somebody wants to say, well, yeah, all she thinks is pleasure, then that's fine. Then that is absolutely fine. But in the meantime, you have to make sure that whatever it is that you're doing is what you want to do, and not what you're forced to do. Because if you're forced to do it, it doesn't come from you. It comes from external sources. So we need to be able to make a shift every day. Situations, whether it's business or whatever it is, we need to be able to make a shift and pivot and change things, and whatever it is that's going to benefit us. My friend, understand this. The better you know yourself, and the more you can't love yourself more and more. You just become more aware of who you are, because love is like, once you get to love you, there's not like, oh, I love me more. No, you may choose you more. You choose you first, you choose you second, and you choose you third. And then everybody else comes first. After you have chosen yourself first, second, and third, after yourself, everybody else comes first. But once you have learned to love yourself, you will notice that your relationship with people becomes sweeter. Why? Because you would look at them with different eyes. You will look at them with a more, not just compassionate, but understanding. You will come to a place where you, and it's just a way to avoid, mitigate, or eliminate conflicts. In most cases, you can eliminate conflict. Why? Because you understand the person. And I'm learning that. That's one of the highest attributes to achieve. Being able to understand people, understand issues, understand situations, understand in all you're getting. There's a passage that says that in all you're getting, get understanding. It's to understand, even in your growth, understand what is happening to you, understand your behavior, understand yourself first. And then you start looking at people totally different. Totally different. Whatever it is that you want to accomplish in your life, whatever it is that you want to accomplish in your life, just know that the bare fact that you think it is because you can have it, is because it exists. And if you have seen it, I'm talking about reality. I'm not talking about a belief or faith. I'm talking about if you have seen it, if you have seen whatever it is that you desire. If let's say, for instance, you desire a wonderful relationship with someone, and I'm sharing this because of someone that said that's what they want, and you see other couples that may have what you desire to have or what you envision for yourself. So it's possible that you can have a great relationship because it exists. You want to have your own house. That's possible. It exists. It exists. That's possible. It exists. And the fact that you are desiring it, the fact that you are thinking about it, the fact that you are, wanting whatever it is, that means you're entitled to it. That's an interesting way of thinking. It's not that you just want it. You're entitled to it. So you need to do whatever you need to do, whatever you need to do to get where you want to be. Make a decision. What I have noticed is that many folks don't trust themselves. A lot of folks don't trust themselves. Listen to how people talk. People never take credit for anything. They don't take credit for anything. They don't know that they can create. They don't know that they can take responsibility. They can go out and make things happen. People don't take responsibility. They don't give themselves credit to know. But I wanted to make some changes in my home, and uh, I went to a design app and created some things. You take a photo of the room that you want to renovate, and it gives you design ideas. And so I wanted to make a shift to a little bit more contemporary. And so I I snapped it, and it created a whole thing. Now, I hadn't told my husband that. I hadn't mentioned it to my husband because, it was just an idea. It was just like, oh, I would love to do this. And, but I kept the photograph. I kept it in my mind. I just kept it. Not even like planning or like just going to do it, because I could have just gone and done it. But, I'm not going to. It's a situation where there has to be mutual decision so that we can both enjoy whatever changes we make. So it's not something that I could just, go on. I mean, I could just go and buy it, but that's not the energy, the vibe that's here. The whole vibe is that we come together and decide, or agree, I should say, because I had already made a decision. This is what I want. So we go out and we were looking for some pieces, and for him, because he wanted to replace, get a upscaled recliner or something like that. And I really had no idea what that I would be making any kind of changes. So we were there in the store, and I don't know how it happened, because when we were finished with a purchase, my husband went in that direction to use the bathroom, which was the wrong direction. And I said, well, I'm going to wait for you. And I just saw this piece of furniture. The bathroom was in the opposite direction in the store. And I saw this piece. I said, oh my gosh, it was the same type of the piece of furniture. It was the same type of thing that I saw in that design app that I had done like months ago. Probably it could have been March, April. It was the same type of furniture. And I said, oh my gosh. And it may not seem to be a big deal because we didn't go there for that. And I said, so I called the salesperson, Macklin, and I said, I asked him, I sat and, everything looked perfect. The color, everything was just perfect. And I asked all these questions. When my husband came back, from the restroom, I said, look at this. So we looked at it, whatever. And we just left the store. The next day I got up, I already had visualized that in my mind. I had already visualized that. And so I said to my husband, we just talked about it. We talked about it. We discussed it. And he thought it was a good idea. We went back to the store the next day, which was that day, in the morning that I woke up, and we made the purchase. I am saying all this to say this. Now, I just had a desire, it's like, oh, I really need to, we could really update this and make it from like a little bit traditional to contemporary to modern, contemporary, really. And well, we were going from modern to contemporary, and it was just a thought. It was just a thought, but I really wanted that. It wasn't something that I really spent a lot of time thinking about, but it was there in my mind, And when we went to the store, and my husband and I agreed on a nice contemporary, bells and whistles recliner, we were good with that purchase. I had not seen the other piece of furniture that was perfect for what for our needs would have been. I had not seen it. So we just made one purchase, and that was it. It wasn't until the end when he, paused and went to the restroom that I saw that. I thought, oh my gosh. And I remembered the picture. As a matter of fact, I went back and I looked for it in my camera, and I showed him the next day when we were talking about it. And I showed him, I said, "You see this? I set this aside months ago. Once I asked the camera, because this app is like an app, you take a photograph of your whatever room you want to update. And so you take a photograph of the room that you want to update, and you decide what type of update you want, whether it's modern, traditional, contemporary, eclectic, whatever it is, that design that you want. And so you take the picture, and it creates something. It gives you like two or three options. It shows you two or three designs, possibilities. And I like what I saw, but it wasn't something that was immediate. It wasn't something that we needed to do. It was just a want. Something I thought, oh, I would love to do this. And it happened. I just remember that it happened. We're still waiting for delivery and so forth, but it happened. It happened. It happened, and it can happen for you. It will, whatever it is that you did. That was just a small example of me using my visualization technique and my just the desire. But in my heart, when I decide on something, because I've been at this for such a long time, it's like I give it no room to refuse. But it's not even about me, because you can do the same. Once you decide what you want to do and you make a decision, whatever smaller decision, like let's say, for instance, if you want to lose weight, okay, no big deal. I mean, let's say you want to lose weight, do something. Start walking or skipping, jumping rope, or, if you can't leave your house, if you can't leave your house, you can skip, jump rope 15 minutes a day, whatever, or do whatever it is that you can do. Make a decision, and you start just being consistent, and you'll see you start getting to like it more and more and more and more, and it will become part of who you are. And once you start seeing those results, then you're going to go for something else. You're going to go. You may say, well, you know what, this community no longer serves me. I feel too constrained. I don't have the freedom that I need to be now that I have whatever graduated from school, or retired from work, whatever it is, not retired but refired. Whatever it is that you want to do, whatever changes, make a decision. If you want to move out, let's say you want to move out of your community and go someplace else, then start looking for a house in the community. First of all, decide what community you want to go live in. You check out the community, you check out the demographics, you check out the population, you check out the environment, and you check out all of those things, and then you make a decision. Okay, so I want to live in this community. Drive around, look at the houses, see what they look like, and if it's something that you determine what kind of house you want. You want a 2-story house, you want a 1-story house, because once you make up your mind the type of house you want, that house will show up. You may drive through a neighborhood that have only 2-story, but your 1-story will show up. It will show up. Just make a decision. If you want to travel, let's say you want to travel overseas to Europe, start planning. Decide what country you want to go to, and then start looking at the wherever it is that you want to go. Let's say you want to go to France, but you want to go to Paris. Start looking at pictures of Paris and seeing what activities you can do when you get there and so forth. And then start creating a collage or something like that. And then following that, you can start looking at flights. Flights to get you there nonstop, depending on what part of the country you are. Start looking at flights. Make sure you have your passport up to date. If you don't have a passport, get a passport. Everybody should have a passport. As a matter of fact, get a passport anyway. Have your passport ready. Start looking at flights, and start checking out hotels, and start putting your money aside. Unless you have the money that you can just take out of your account. But if that's not the case, then start putting aside $200 a week, $300 a week, whatever it is that you can put aside, $25 a week, because it'll multiply. $25. I remember years ago when we years ago we hadn't my husband had been on a cruise before he met me, and I had never been on a cruise, and he used to talk about it so much. And one day I said, that's it, we're going on a cruise. And we wanted to plan for it. We didn't want to just take our monies and go. So we said, okay, let's save, and next year we're gonna do a cruise, a Caribbean cruise. And every week, we would put $25 in an, he would give me $25 out, $25. So $50 in an envelope every week. Every week, $50 in an envelope. And by the time came around, we were able to book the cruise. We had the airlines. Everything was paid for before we left. And it started with $25 a week. And I'm telling you, it's with time, it seems like the money multiplied. I don't remember. I think somebody got like a huge bonus or something that we put toward it. And it's just like money attracts money. Money attracts money. And that is what can happen to you as well. It's all a decision, my friend. That's all you need, is to make a decision as to what life you want to create for yourself, and be encouraged, feel empowered and bold enough to make those decisions, and make it unilaterally yourself. You make the decision. If you have a partner that you need to consult with, then you can do that. But you need to have in your mind, what is it that you desire to do? Because like when I come up with something, I have it down pat. I have it in my mind what I want to do, the alternative, the options, and so forth. And when I talk to my husband, we are dialoguing about whatever the idea is, options, the way he sees it, and then we dialogue of it. He may say, well, I don't want to do this, or why don't we, I don't want to go here, why don't we do this instead? And it's open for dialogue. But it all starts with a decision. So guess what? I'm going to leave you with that, so that you can know, you need to accelerate this whole thing about, your journey of self-discovery. You need to accelerate it, knowing that it's not something that you go through to get there to then let things happen. No, as you're going through this journey of self-discovery, you need to see things happening. Your life needs to start unfolding. You need to start feeling good about yourself, happy, content. You need to start doing things. If it's, you want to meet someone, then you need to do whatever you need to do. Go out, get on the dating app, meet people, and just make it happen, because you can. My friend, every Thursday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, we have a date right here. And if you can't make it, if you can't be here at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, then you see the icon in the bottom here, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. You can sign in and stream it 24/7. 24/7. In the meantime, gosh, next week is Halloween. Then you have Thanksgiving, and then Christmas, and the year is gone. People now are creating their what do you call it, resolution, New Year resolution from now. I don't do that, but anyway, I saw that on GMA this morning. So anyway, in the meantime, amigos, have a fantastic weekend. I will see you next week, same time, same place. Hasta luego, au revoir, ciao, amigos. Have a great weekend. Whatever you do, make it